from the
Same places, trap music, this that first react music. They can't hold me back, I'm feeling good cause I'm black music. Can't nobody touch.
Good evening and welcome everyone back to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live, where we define, examine, and analyze words, saying, and phrases used in American culture. And tonight, y'all, we will be smoking on the phrase Black History. So grab your thinking caps and get ready to smoke on words with two big nerds, myself and the God Ali Dawood El at BK Soul Farm, and we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God. How you feeling this evening?
Peace, God. I'm feeling blacktastic this evening.
Feeling blacktastic.
Blacktastic, right? Like life has been good, man. You know, life has been life, and I ain't gonna lie. Hills and valleys, but we forward tough, right? You know, we built for it, right? We here for it, so we keep pushing forward, man. So Black History.
Black History, yes,
It's gonna be
indeed.
interesting conversation.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are smoking on the phrase Black History this evening. And speaking of Black History, also myself, God, I'm doing well. Glad to be here. Glad to get another day of breath, first and foremost. And on this February 8th of Black History Month, I think it's fitting that we discuss Black history, and also we got to celebrate it. You know, happy Black History Month to everybody out there. I know the guy had some posts on the ground. We was like, is it happy? Or is it just, it's happy.
It's happy Black History Month.
It's
I
happy.
rock with the people, God. Like if it's happy, I'm happy about it. I'm happy to be black.
Yeah,
I'm
like
happy.
You can't change it. When you wake up in the morning, you can't change it. Right?
Nah.
You can't change it. But are we going to respect it and honor it? Are we going to be better versions of ourselves, like the God Ali Dawood El always says and reiterates daily on his social media posts? You know, y'all need to go check that out. Y'all make sure that y'all go check that out for real, because, you know, it's inspirational. It's motivational. You know, it gets you going. It makes you feel good to wear this skin each and every day. All right. So we're feeling good to wear this skin each and every single day. We're gonna wish everybody a happy Black History Month. And tonight's show, we are celebrating the late, great Richard Claxton Gregory, aka Dick Gregory, born October 12, 1932, and went on to another world to transition August 19, 2017, was an American comedian, actor, author, and social activist. All right. And what was some of the other aliases, God?
Baba Dick Gregory.
Baba.
Right? Yeah, elder, right? Because he actually did it the right way.
There we go.
He put it down and actually stood up for his people and stood up for everything that he was saying. At least that's what I saw. Right? He stopped being funny and made everything serious what it was supposed to be, right? If you're gonna hear his voice, you're not gonna laugh at the guy, right? You're gonna actually intake the knowledge and you're gonna ingest the nutrients and you're gonna make yourself better. That's what happened for me. Right.
Absolutely.
So it's always a salute.
Always a big salute. So happy Black History Month to everybody out there. Make sure you do something cultural to celebrate Black History Month, because it's your month. You deserve it. You know, should be doing it every day, you know, but we're going to get into that. That's probably going to be some questions that, you know, we may have during this smoke this evening, you know. And before we get into tonight's questions for Black History, y'all, make sure to head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and get your copy of 1060 16 160 Self-Sustainability by the God Ali Dawood El. Okay, that's 1016 160 Self-Sustainability. Go get your copy because them prices is getting a little high at the grocery store. Like they've been high, but they getting a little higher. You know, I was a little disappointed in my purchase, my recent purchase of some kale. And you know, I was just like, damn, okay, the price is the same, but this ain't the
Yeah, wow.
bundle, a big bushel of kale that I'm used to getting, man. What's going on with this? You know? So I was like, man, this spring I'm definitely getting seeds in the ground. Um, because yeah, like we can't go for that. You know, I don't know how consistent that's gonna be. And see, kale is one of them things that can grow continuously throughout the year. So it's like I ain't get why it's so small. Why was it so small like that? But yeah, y'all go pick up a copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability so you can get all that together for real. And also don't forget right now at the DB Chef TV gift shop, we got post your merch to win $1,000 cash. All rules and everything are on the DB Chef TV social media page. Good luck to everyone. It'll only be one winner. And good luck to everybody. You know, we appreciate that y'all participate and pick up some merch. And like we always say, if money's tight, it's all right. You can do something free, and that's smash the like button. And we thank you for that. So let's go ahead and get into our questions for Black History. All right, y'all. So our first question is our house question. What do you think of when you hear the saying Black History? Two, why isn't there more social interest in celebrating Black history beyond February? Three, is Black history about survival, ownership, or both? And why? Four, what part of Black history do you think you should have learned earlier but didn't, and why? And then our fifth and final, last but never least, is the saying Black history bad, good, or misunderstood? And if you're new to the channel, y'all, what we do is we always answer our first question and then we go and try to find some sort of definition for our word, saying, or phrase. And that's what we're going to do here tonight. Make sure to smash that like button and let us know what y'all think in the live chat or in the comment section below, depending on when you're watching this. So, what do you think of when you hear the saying Black history? The God Ali Dawood El at BK Soul Farm.
Peace, God.
Peace, God.
Interesting, right? So I guess the very first thing that I think of when I think about Black history is my grandfather, right?
Granddaddy.
Right. I think about granddaddy.
Shout out the elder, man.
Mostly uh because he's old enough to fight in the war. Um, and I find that our ancestors and our elders that have participated in these US wars um have contributed a significant um piece to the building of this nation, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you think we got enough freedom or not, like it is what it is, and I'm happy for it, right? Um, when I think about my grandfather, I think about the time periods in which he lived. I think about my grandmother. I think about all the stories that they told me of just what was going on around them, not even necessarily about their childhood per se, but the times that was going on around them. Um, I think about ironically, right? Like, because I think about the civil rights movement, but then that's when I start getting angry because I start thinking about that time period is the same time period that my parents um, were walking around and participating in life, right? And at any moment, they could have been one of those, uh, you know, sacrifices, you know, because that's what they kind of was, right? Um, for us to feel this pain so we can actually, I don't know, man. Like it's a lot. Like that whole time period was so heavy. And I think about my folks and them being 10 years old and young teenagers and growing up into adulthood and all of the challenges that they had to deal with, right? I think about all of the people that has come to this country and have benefited and prospered, um, rightfully so, because of the opportunities that exist here, right? Like we have made it so that it is actually worthwhile to be it, right? Like at one point, cats was dying, they couldn't survive here. Um, but apparently, we was able to build, or not we, but our ancestors was able to build institutions and facilities and establishments that's still standing till this day, right? So our own personal history, like the things that we've actually, like our own flesh and blood, the things that we've actually done. Forget about the people that we don't know, the Martin Luther Kings and the Rosa Parks and all those people. Like our grandparents and our parents um, went through things that I'm thankful that they survived, right? What I also think about when I think about Black history, primarily I think about African American history, right? I think that it gets tricky, right, when you get so many other heavily melanated people that come here that may not have always considered themselves to have been Black, or their people as being Black. They was more ethnic about theirs and nationhood about theirs, right?
What do you mean when you get like a Afro Latino that says like I'm not black, I know
Now,
black,
when you get
I'm Afro Latino, or you get a Haitian that
a
says I'm
Haitian,
not black, or you get
a
a African,
Jamaican,
a Jamaican
yeah,
says
like
I'm not black, I'm this, I'm that.
I'm
Okay,
Nigerian, I'm Ghanaian,
okay, yeah,
whatever.
yeah, because
Yeah,
we
right.
wasn't just leaving it on the Latino persons. We
No, no,
get it.
no. It's
It's spread across the board. That's why I wanted to chime in
yeah,
to make the point so you did so it was understood to the viewers that when you American black, it's a difference.
it just
And we have Black History Month
and
for
and
that
we
purpose.
and we have Black History Month for that purpose,
Yeah.
and that's when I don't get confused because I'm like, yo, I remember, like we have Black History Month for that purpose. While we celebrate all Black, it is an African American thing that we should be proud of. Like our Black experiences is so dope that so many more Black people want to come here to be a part of it and to win and prosper, right? Like I don't know, man. I just think we're dope. I think everything about um our existence, like, because we've been able to look at what we're dealing with. Look at the monsters we've having to deal with, what we've been having to live under for so long, and we still sane, we still smile, we still eat good food, right? Everybody's not going out there committing mass suicide or homicide, right? In fact, more people are finding more ways to love more people, right? In real life, right? The TV say something different, but even that you see people unite, you know, real or not. I say what you see, right?
I don't know. I just saw a sitting president allow a post to go through with the monkey suits on the Obamas, like, and I'm not triggered by it. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't I don't know. I don't know if I agree with your last statement, God. I don't know if people are looking to be better, and you know what I'm saying. Especially, especially like we were saying offline when somebody's like, "Nigga, did you see what the president did?" And it's like, did you hear yourself?
Yeah, right.
Did
Like,
you hear yourself? Like, you know, and only the fool gonna be like, "What wrong? What's wrong with that question?" Like, only the fool is gonna be like, "What's wrong with that question?"
my
You
question would
know,
be like how we know that's even real? That's a real post that's really happened. That
I mean,
it like we don't know nothing. Like everything AI got, man. I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
you
Like,
know,
but yeah, that's what I think about Black History, bro. I think about my people. I think about things that we've done. I think about, um, I'm proud to be black. I think about all the things that we've accomplished in this country, and I'm not gonna give that up.
no doubt, no doubt. So you said granddaddy.
Granddaddy,
Shout out to granddad. Salute to Paw, granddaddy in our era. The civil rights movement, your personal history,
my folks.
African American history. Um, and that's something that I wanted to speak on real quick before what I think of. I don't think that we should be doing this,
What's that?
separating African American history from Black history. I
I
think,
don't either.
yeah, I think that because I hear it used like that. Like, well, it's a difference between Black history and African American. No, it's not, because the
Good.
only people who have Black history a month is the African Americans. You know what I mean? Like, it's nobody else who has like if you go to those, like we were speaking on earlier, those other countries where they have, Haiti, um, the VI, Jamaica, um, all of the Caribbean islands, you know, they have their own celebratory days and things like that. They have their own cultural celebrations. So even like in the Bahamas, they have a thing called Junkadoo.
Hmm.
That's real cool, but like in Brazil, Carnival, in a lot of the Caribbean islands, it's Carnival, you know. So
It's Carnival weekend right now. I think.
in Brazil, I
I want to
think
say in Trinidad. Yeah.
maybe so. I know they all usually happen around this February time. A few
Uh,
places have them around this February time, but yeah. So just making that distinction for the viewers, y'all. Smash that like button if you in the building.
Yeah, I want to add on to that real quick, guys.
Add on to it, God.
So I 100% agree that we should not make any distinctions between African American history and Black history, right? And I want to add on by saying that African Americans do not make that distinction naturally. In Black History Month, right? We talk about all of the Black people in America that made this thing possible, right? We
Mhm.
talk about all of the Black uh, um, revolutionaries that moved the needle throughout the diaspora and throughout the Ma'afa period, right? Like we don't leave anybody out, right? We don't
Mm-mm.
say we don't say you're not one of us. We're not doing that. in our history, in our conversation, and when we bring up stuff, right? But today's society has um, cultivated such a incorrect memory or incorrect thought process that while Black History Month here in America is an African American thing, it does not exclude any other Black person, right? It doesn't mean that we're not talking about Jamaicans during February. We're not talking about Trinidadians. It doesn't mean none of that stuff, right? It also doesn't mean that just because it's a Black History Month, that now you got to inundate me with a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know nothing about just because you want to push your stuff up on me, right? Like it's a we got to share. We got to mix and mingle and do the gumbo thing, right? Put it all together, make it all taste good.
Yeah, definitely, because that's definitely how we learn some of the cultural similarities,
Yeah,
by sharing and by experiencing these the ritualistic ceremonies that we engage in, the practices that we engage in, and then you bring in other melanated people, and and they just like, oh yeah, oh y'all do that too, oh man, we do the same type of thing, but it's what we call it this, you know and you see how it's really kind of like a universal language. um
yeah, beefing for no reason.
yeah, it's beautiful. So we are answering our first question, y'all. What do you think of when you hear the saying Black History? Let us know in the chat or in the comments below, depending on when you're watching this. um Black history: pain, uh suffering, slavery, triumph, overcoming, perseverance, um no reparations, um no real repair, um trauma, continual trauma. It's like just an example of like the person asking me, not to put them on blast, nigga, did you see what Trump did? And then they not even having the knowledge of understanding that the way you just presented that question to me, do you know what you just said to me was just as equally as defamating as that picture? And then you say why? Then you say why? Because the word was created specifically to defamate, to belittle us, to make us lesser value than our white counterparts, than white Americans. Okay. It was used in that way. The things like you were talking about earlier, God, when you said all of the things that our granddaddies and grandmamas and aunties and all of them went through, even our parents, because we at that age where our parents seen, you know, that civil rights hold. They might have rode on the back of the bus or went to a back door somewhere, went to a colored water fountain. I know
Facts.
I know Nana V did for sure.
That's what I'm saying, God.
You know, and and all of that pain, all of that tolerance, all of that is why, you know, presenting that question like nigga, or being so casually calm to use that word, thinking it's so cool, thinking that word is just the coolest word ever to use, instead of addressing human beings and adults and people as people, you know, is a part of that trauma, is a part of that, um, that we don't have to call you niggas anymore because you're going to call yourself niggas. You're going to do nigga shit to each other, what we taught you. We're going to teach you to hate each other, and then we don't have to hate on you no more. We can just, you're going to do it to each other. You know, so that's part of that trauma. That's part of that sickness that resonates, that repair has not happened. And, you know, I also give Black history, when I think of Black history, I also think of all of the accomplishments too. You know, all of the magnificent things, the inventors and creators, and all of the productive things that we have done to make you be proud, to feel proud, like to see somebody and not be full of hate, you know, to not look at somebody and say, you know, well, he don't do this, or she don't do this for this, or he don't do, you know, instead of just aspiring and say, you know what, they doing what they do. Okay. It's a little bit different than a political position. I understand when people in political positions, they kind of have their hands tied because they have constituencies. So they have some stuff they can do, but you have to pay attention to what they do, not what they say. And I'm not talking about what they post, you know, because that can be a distraction to what's really going on in life. Something that you really need to be focused on, more important, that's going to actually help benefit you and your family, loved ones, people you care about. But you know, it's difficult to communicate that. It's difficult for people to receive that when they, you know, when everything is so emotionally charged nowadays. But being able to see our people do things, you know, we get taught this slave story every single February, you know, about, you know, Lincoln freeing the slaves. And then we hear about the accomplishments of Frederick Douglass and Eli Whitney. And, you know, it's been a while since I've been in school, elementary school or junior high school. But you know, that was the story that they was teaching then. And I don't think that that the curriculum has been revisited in a while, because that was the same type of curriculum that, you know, my parents was getting too. So when we think of all those things, I think of the motivation too, because yeah, we have all this negative stuff that happened, but you know, it's like we still standing, we still thriving, we still striving, we still surviving, we still maintaining. The only thing that we, you know, that we lacking is unity. So it's like, dang, it's like, what is the, when I think of Black history, I also think of like, what is the key to making, like, I think of like, what is the key, the recipe to making, you know, Black history be Black permanency? You know, where's permanent? You know, it ain't just a February thing. You know, it ain't just a, but I understand, like, it's an infection that has happened that permeates. And you know, and we have so many things that it's so many insecurities amongst people that, you know, a lot of people ain't diagnosed. That's one of the things I always say. I say, I'm diagnosed with my shit. The problem is, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what my shit is. I'm diagnosed. You know?
Yeah.
Like you walking, like some people walk around here undiagnosed and don't know why they just, you know, out here, you know, being complete POSs, you know, or it's not working for
them. I know why my issues are what
you know.
they are.
Exactly. So That's what I think of when I think of Black History, God. Um, the pain, the joy, the accomplishments, the overcoming, the perseverance, the sacrifices, um, the traumas, the understanding where we at, the foolery, the fuckery, the the inconsistencies, the things that we can be consistent with, the successes, the perseverances, you know, I get all that. I get all that. It's just one big thing. It's one big bubble of of why is it only February? I'm thinking like that's a
Shout out to them.
why is it not Black permanency? And then we give meanings to everything, right? So like that's what we out here. We out here purposely giving meanings to everything, and people are purposely not going to the dictionary to have a foundation of where we can meet at, on a word in communication. So I'm just like, why don't we, I think that's something we might should do, God. We might need to make a Cigar Sunday dictionary and just make our own, publish our own dictionary, of the meanings, like for, and just call it, a novelty. And hey, who knows? People may take it and adopt it. You know, they,
Hey,
they pick up all the other BS from, anything else. So at
Cigar
least
Sunday Dictionary. I'm with it, God.
at least this won't be something to, to cause you to, think you about to spend a whole bunch, think you about to spend $1 and make $1 billion, or think you going, um,
It's just something to learn.
out slick a can of oil or some shit, like just something to, have fun with. Maybe make a board game or something. You might get into it. But yeah, y'all, let us know what you think of when you hear the saying Black History. And usually at this part of the show, we go to the dictionary. So what I have to reveal is that Black history is not defined in any dictionary. In the Cambridge or the Webster,
Mhm.
there is no definition for Black history, and that's why it isn't a word. That's why it is a phrase or a saying. So before we go to our second question, I just wanted to chop it up with the guy about that. Like, why do you think Black history hasn't been defined? And that's one of the reasons why I was teasing with maybe we need to make our own book, um because it shocked me to find out that Black history did not have a definition. No legal defined definition that was published by anybody, you know. Now I've seen articles with it that had some good stuff, but no teaching from a publication, a definition of Black history.
I think mostly so for two reasons, right? Mostly because of all the different black people that are here, and how would you make it fair on how much of a nation or a region or a
It's for the
particular
African Americans. It ain't for the
so so so
it
so
ain't
so
for
that's
the rest
so
of y'all darkies.
so so this is my part two. This is the part two to that, right? So while there is no doctrinal definition, when you do type in Black History definition in the search engine, um, you get an interesting answer,
You do
right?
get an interesting answer, but
You
you
get
don't
it.
get a definition. You get that's
Nah,
AI, right?
you get not just that, but it's like so you get a Black History answer, but then you get a Black Study answer, right? So in my mind, I'm thinking Black History, I guess it's the class or whatever, but Black Studies like how you do it according to the AI on this, Black history is people of African descent, but Black studies is pertaining to African Americans. I'm like, that's trickery and manipulation
And
and
yeah,
and you know what I mean, like
confusion,
confusion.
and that's why I ain't even gonna.
It's confused.
You
It's
know,
just
I
crazy.
spent like 3 hours on it. Like, it's no way. It's no way. It's no way.
It's
It's no
just
way that
weird.
this has been taught. This is being taught. It's no way that people are celebrating this. It's Black History Month, y'all. It's this is it. It's no way that this thing has went this long. This is hypocrisy. This is a like a cultural I don't know. I'm at a loss of words. Like, it's like it's making a mockery of it.
I want to say something else, guy. So I think this definition of African descent, I think this is a new definition or a new meaning. I think that Black history has always been African American understanding. I think I
That's
think
cool though.
I think that's always been the understanding until recently.
Recently, how?
Like, because now you got actual like the Tariq Nasheeds of the world going around actually pitting groups of Black people together here in America, talk about pick a side. Like, this is our Black History Month. You ain't got nothing to do with this kind of thing. And you got, well, I'm Black too. There's a bunch of confusion, right? So that's why I say, like, I have a hard time, like you, to think that this thing has been going on for so long and it not have ever been defined. Like, I refuse to accept, like, even Black history, like even the Black History Week that has to, I would think we would have to accept um the meaning that the creator of Black History Week came up as the definition of that. Would that be fair?
No,
No? Even
no,
though he didn't, why not?
no,
What is,
no.
what is, what
Because it
was
should
that?
have a definition. It should have some type of foundation that a person who decides, a Black person specifically, who decides to want to learn about their history, have a starting point to know where to go. If they just look up, okay, well, it's Black history. So, yes, like you said, African American studies, that's a class in
Right?
in college, right? But that ain't Black. That's not classified as Black history, right? It's just gonna say, well, well, African American studies is Black history, but it's just not defined as. Why not? That's what I'm saying. Why not? Why isn't it clear cut, concise?
And
You
that's
know,
what and I think we saying the same exact thing, right? Because like there shouldn't be no confusion because the AI say 1926, Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, like it was established to honor the often overlooked accomplishments of history of Black Americans. Like that's, I don't know why that wouldn't be in the dictionary.
that's not a
And
that, but that's but look how you had to dig for that, right?
no, that's what I'm saying. I had to type in Black History Week definition
Okay,
and and
Black
it's,
History Week definition,
yeah, because that's how it started.
right? Okay,
Yeah,
but we celebrate Black History Month.
correct.
Okay, so unless you are at every single Black History Month celebration and say, no, y'all, we have to look up the definition of Black History Week, the inception, right?
But that's still not a definition though, right? That's still just an overview of why he did it or
Of
why it
why
was
he
start
did it, right?
of why it was started, right? It doesn't, it's still not
Okay,
a still not a
concrete definition.
yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like we just unpacking this, y'all. We just unpacking this. If y'all just joining us, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, y'all. We on our way to 100 subscribers. Help us get there. Look, Black history don't have no definition.
No definition.
You know, it 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 has me. It had me like in certain places and spaces. Like, yeah, all the stuff I looked up for the AI stuff. We got all that, the Carter G. Woodson stuff. We got all
Yeah.
the African American studies, but it was no definition. That was crazy to me. Like, do you think that some people are sitting somewhere saying they celebrating something every month that don't even exist? It ain't even defined.
Hold on.
And that's wild. That's wild to me because I'm just like, man, like how we have all of this knowledge, all of these great, magnificent, prolific, phenomenal contributions to civilization. Let's keep it a buck. And we got Black history over here in the Americas, and we don't even have a definition. Now, all these scholars, all these lecturers, I think it's time we get together and we figure out what Black history gonna be. Because clearly we've been celebrating it year after year, every single February, and there's no definition.
We might be able to. We just need one thing to agree on, actually, and that might be the thing. Let's make Black history what we want it to be.
So that's we just wanted to, enlighten, exchange insights, and make the people aware that, like, y'all, it's no definition. It's just the same. And that's not to lessen it, but that's to understand that if we can put that much energy into something that isn't even defined, like this is different. People add meanings to other stuff and don't understand the correct application of the words as they were designed. All right. But we have this whole saying, Black History Month, that we celebrate. And there's never been a definition of what it is. One, I think that's amazing because it says, look what you can do even without even knowing that you're just following the routine of something. You're not even, you don't even know, you don't even have a foundational base to go and reference it with. It's like, well, let's say if it's, a million years later and somebody is like, what's Black history? Well, there's no definition of it. Now we got AI, right? But I mean, AI will bring up something, well, it's a month in February. But okay, so is that just given a month? Is it just a month after that? Black history is something you should be able to be culturally, you should be able to live through. You should be able to implement and take.
We would need a culture first in order to do that.
I mean, we plant the seeds. We plant the seeds. It's done got lost. We know the culture's lost,
but I think like I think that's how it was passed down culturally, though, has been mouth to ear, right? I don't think it's necessarily. I think that's why it's so easily. That's why it could get lost, and why it could be misunderstood, or somebody could throw themselves in there because there's nothing foundational, and it's just been stories around the kitchen table, or you know, what we get in church and stuff like that, right? Like it's
But it's nothing. It's nothing unifying.
no, it's more super internal to inspire the individual, one person, and not the group as one group.
You know, you think about Black History Program. I'm gonna go back, and then we're gonna move on to the second question. But I have experienced Black History programs where like people been mad, Black folks been mad at each other, like why we gotta do this, why we gotta do that.
Yeah.
I think we should do this, or I think we should do that. You know, I've seen confusion in a Black History program where it's like, look, this is a Black History program. Like whoever we celebrate, whoever we honoring, whoever we celebrating, like the people gonna get some information. So why you pissed off? Why your attitude nasty about, you know what I'm saying? We celebrate and it just, you know, next year you can do your well. I gotta wait till next year, right? But no, do one next week and throw it yourself. All right. But if we had some type of foundational, then it'll be like, okay, well, this is how the Black history, this is what Black history is about right here. So are we embodying this with this celebration? Are we embodying this with this presentation? Are we embodying this with this gathering? You know, and those things aren't put in. Black history does not have that. Does not have an identity for itself.
It's not codified, so to speak.
There we go.
All right, kind of. I think it's kind of like this, similar to why Kwanzaa gets the disrespect that it gets, right? Because it can only be looked at as just an African American thing because it was created by an African American. If you are one of those Black, don't consider yourself an African American, you may not want to associate yourself with Kwanzaa because you might think the African American might rub off on you, right? I don't know, like
that's so crazy. If you are a Black person that does not associate yourself with an African American, and you know what, and I think, and this is how I think. But people don't like when I say this though. I think if you a Black person that does not consider yourself an African American, then you should get punched in your fucking mouth if you call me a nigga.
Right? Like because for all intents and purposes, whether you like it or not, right? We turned that negative around into a positive, quote unquote, right?
Right.
For our empowerment, right? Like I hear so many continental Africans come here and say how when somebody called them a nigga or something like that, that word has no meaning to them. So they don't feel disrespected at all because it's like that doesn't affect me at all because and I'm like, see, like, so you don't get to say it if you don't get the same kind of, you know. So yeah, I feel you, God.
Yeah, you know, that's just my thought. I ain't telling nobody to punch nobody.
I'm anti saying it all together, right?
Yeah, I'm anti saying it all together.
Right, I'm working on it myself, but we definitely got to get it out of our vocabulary because it's not good, and we just continue in the BS.
Yeah, and that's because I understand, like you just said, we just continue in the BS, you know, calling each other, defamating each other, so the white person don't have to do it. So a racist white person don't have to do it, you know. So yeah, it's interesting though. Black history has no definition. So
At all.
Moving on to our second question. Why isn't there more social interest in celebrating Black history beyond February? Why isn't there more social interest in celebrating Black history beyond the month of February?
The greater masses in the American society are scared to death of their shadow, and they scared that if black people actually be proud to be black, that something bad might happen to them, right? So they try to marginalize it and minimize it and keep it right where it is so that they can contain their fear, right? I think for those of us of the melanated persuasion, I think that they don't support it because they actually are trying their best to appease the greater society that's scared of black people, right? And they wanna let those people know that I'm not black like them.
I'm
I'm
not black like them, right?
I'm I'm black like Barack,
I'm
right?
black
So
like Barack. I like that though. I like
right,
that though.
like you can I'm the good black. You can trust me. I'm not like those African Americans, right?
The African Americans.
I'm black like Barack, so you can trust me, right? I'm an immigrant like you kind of, right? Looking
Immigrant though.
looking fair.
Oh. I
Like
wasn't
just
born here. I wasn't born here.
like like like
Oh,
like every like I don't know, God, like we moved around. So, like it's like that's what I think. I think it's out of fear and laziness, right? And cowardice, right? I think people would rather not be the very best versions of themselves every single day. I think they look for excuses to opt out of greatness, right? I think that instead of looking forward, they look down and hope that somebody hand holds their head up for them, right? I think there's a lot of adult children walking around here that's
big babies. Big ass baby. Somebody got hold your hand and shit.
you know what I'm saying, God? Like, yeah, that's what I think, right? So when you limit it to February, because like it's like imagine, because in February you get inundated. Well, you'd imagine and you would think you get inundated with all the inventors and stuff like that. Like imagine if 365 days every month is like here's another one and another one and another one. Like you talking about black. Remember we did black fatigue? Like these cats have black fatigue for a whole nother reason, right? And it'd be like, like I think it's fear, God, and laziness and cowardice. Um, that limits the conversation, the legal conversation to the month of February, right? Any other time somebody can accuse you of being racist or a rebel rouser, right? Like the month of February, we have the right to talk about all black shit without getting charged with being a radical.
Right. Because it's your celebratory time. Take your moment.
So,
Take your
I got
take your
28
moment.
of
You got 20. You got 20 more days to do all the white bashing you can do.
them. Because that's what they think, right? That's what
Yeah, like it
they
ain't even ain't nobody even on that.
think.
You know?
Like we give a fuck about them. Like, come on, son. Like we got food, clothing, and shelter, and the protection of that to
Man,
maintain, secure, and obtain. You think we got time to worry about
I love good people, man. Good people. If you a good person, then
just
we
be a
can
good
rock.
human, bro. That's
Yeah, if
it.
you're a good human, we can rock. If you a fucked up individual, then I ain't fucking with you. You know what I'm saying? And you showed me that. So it wasn't something that I assumed because I give everybody a chance. You know,
First,
sometimes to
yeah,
my own detriment. You know,
most time.
when I knew they was when I could smell it on them, when I could smell the fucked upness on
But like,
their ass.
well,
You know what
maybe.
I'm saying? And I still, and I'm like, I could smell it on you when I met you. I don't know why the fuck I even, you know what I'm saying? But you live and
Yeah,
you learn.
yeah,
You live and you learn. But
yeah.
but definitely got the cowardness and the fear and all of those things. I agree. I think that a lot of people are busy being partiers of like the political parties, you know. So like um
Mm.
you know, so like okay, in February, yeah, I'm gonna be black, but you know, but then they still whispering, oh, you know, they a Republican. Oh, you know, they ain't no Democrat. Or you know, they Democrats. So they this or they, you know, it's so much divisiveness in political, you know, being caught up in a political system where thinking one side is better than this side or this side is that, you know, just being pitted against each other to avoid collectiveness. Even when we speak of like when I was referring to, I've been to Black History programs and heard people there, you know, the coordinators and people who were producers of the, you know, some people not satisfied with, and it's showtime, you know, and it's just like, okay, well, that's that selfishness, that individualism, you know, that is a display of a lack of unity, a lack of being thankful for the opportunity to have the opportunity. Um, and that's why I think that that's why I think that, you know, after February, it's just like, okay, I'm glad that's over. Let me go back to the club, you know. Or I'm
Mm.
glad that's over. Let me get back to the church stuff. Or I'm glad that's over. Let me get back to the social media bullshit or whatever it is, you know, that is not, like you said earlier, trying to be the best black version of yourself daily, you know, like 365, 366, you know, 367, 368. You know,
Like, why would you limit yourself on your greatness purposefully?
right. You know, like, well it's Black History Month, so I can, you know, and not try to exemplify that and be that on a daily basis, you know, beyond just February. And I think some people don't even give a shit about it being in February because they so overconsumed with everything else, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting though, you know, and I could be wrong though, you know, but that's why I think that it's you know, the social interest is everybody so distracted doing other things. And and another thing is too, God, is that being proud of being black is not promoted anymore.
No. I think that's the fair part though, right? Because it's the sound like, you gotta not be proud to be white, or you about to do somebody else, right? Like these people hear what they want to hear for themselves, right? And they make your thing mean something different than that. So nah, like you don't really hear too much pro
Y-
black stuff except for in February.
Yeah, like I understand the whole multicultural thing, but I'm just like, you know, you still gotta, you know, like nobody's asking the Jewish community to be multicultural. Nobody's asking the Asian community to be multicultural. Nobody's asking the Latin community to be multicultural, you know?
Interesting, guy. All those people you just named, all those groups you just named, for the most part, have cultures that are identifiable to other people,
Exactly.
except for us,
Except for us.
right? So we don't get no respect because no everybody's saying we don't have a culture. They saying we don't deserve respect because we ain't shit. Like that's why that's why while it shouldn't be divisive, I understand why it is, right? Because people not being honest in their conversations and everybody is picking and choosing and being opportunists instead of being realists and just being better humans, right? Like every man, I'm with you, God. Like the only way out of capitalism is to be a capitalist.
Is
That
to
does
be a capitalist. That's
that
it.
that does not mean be a white man,
No, no, that don't mean that. Like the
right?
money gonna be white regardless.
Yeah,
We ain't
now, but
created,
nah,
right?
I'm talking. I ain't talking about complexion. I'm talking about in how you obtain and how ruthless and diabolical and you're cheating still. Like you ain't got to do all that.
You ain't
You
gotta
ain't
do all that.
you ain't got to be trying to cut people. Um, like, you ain't got to do all that.
But it happen. But it happens in
Yeah,
a non-diabolical way when
yeah.
right when you working together collectively. Like if you know, like, okay, example, prime example, they gave the brother a whole lot of flack for it. Even Umar Johnson, well, he
hmm
tried to crowdfund his school, right?
hmm
Then you had the guy in Atlanta, Jay Morrison. He tried to crowdfund the Tulsa, Oklahoma fund, all that. All right. The thing is like a lot of these people be good orators or speakers, all right, where they can be the people that go and motivate and get the people to contribute and things like that. But they may not be the best treasurers. They may not be the best managers of the money. You know, it's a difference when you can be the head of public affairs and you could be the CFO. You know, it's a difference. But when you're trying to be the head of public affairs, all right, and you trying to be the CFO, and you're better at being the public affairs, you know,
You're gonna mess
then
up the money,
yeah, then you mess up the money.
not even on purpose.
Not even it's just because you don't have the skill set,
Yeah.
you know. So a lot of people don't understand that, and then we see how these things play out. But I say that to say this: when you're working as a collective, those things like you were just mentioning, those things will happen in that space, in that capitalistic space. If we go in and bid because we want to buy a new company, somebody else may get overbid, may get outbidded, you know.
Correct.
And we may underbid something when we know that it's a deal. We may overbid when we know that it's even a bigger deal because we looking at the ROI, you know. We've done the math on it. So we may do some other things. You never know because that's how it works. It works like that. You may have to go in and buy up this and buy up that quietly. Let the company just go in and buy up this quietly, right? Because we heard a bug that the government is going to build something over here, so we want to have a resource center for them. So we're going to just go buy this land over here real quick. So even if they don't buy, even if the government don't come in here and buy it, then we can build what we need to facilitate that entity of what they building right there. You know, thinking ahead. That's strategic. That's strategic planning, strategic investment, and you can do these things collectively and somebody gonna lose.
Oh yeah, that's that. No, that's like I say, God. Like the only way out of like once you put it the way you put it, like the only way out of this thing is to be capitalist, right? That's why I say we just don't have to be white people though, right? We don't have to be evil.
we
We don't
can't
have
we
we
can't
we,
we can't be that.
we
I
can't.
don't think we can, because I
Yeah,
say again, God, it's outrage
I agree.
about a text, about a tweet, about a post, right?
Yeah,
But it ain't outrage that black people's been having these substandard living conditions. It ain't outrage that we ain't have no reparations, that the conversation is completely dead coming out the White House. Completely dead. It ain't no conversation about it. No senator, no nobody. I don't care if they black, blue, green, purple, white, whatever, a elf, a smurf, nothing. All right. It ain't no outrage about that. People
at all.
mad at all of these social media triggering things, but ain't willing to die about shit.
Because they're not really mad.
So I'm like, if you ain't willing to die about it, then to me it must not be that bad, because you ain't willing to crash out about it. You're not fed up, obviously. But there's a group of people who will agree with you, so you sound intellectual, so you sound like you give a damn, but you ain't doing shit. You just ready to go back and go vote like they telling you to go do, and still not making any change. Nothing has happened. Well, I go voted. I seen this thing. I seen a post, man. People be posting like, if you voted for Trump and this, that, and the third, it's like, but what did Biden do for you? That's what I want to know. What did Barack do for you? I know what Barack did for you if you part of the LGBTQ plus AI community. You know, I do know that. I do know that things became a lot more easier for you to express, for you to be yourself without, without recourse. I do know that. But then I also know that a black man taking care of his family, standing up for what he believes in, being vocal, has been called toxic masculinity unless it's a black woman standing in front of him doing all the woofing and barking and shit.
Correct.
Like a black man ain't got no voice. So I haven't seen no politician, none, make that be something. Make that be something, proud to be something. Make a brother be proud to say, nah, I'm a black man, take care of my family. I do my thing. That's why I respect it. I'm at home with my kids. I'm providing for my children. Those who can be. We understand sacrifice, and I've been in the service. And providing. I take care. I lend that masculine knowledge to my child. Provide that for my family, like granddaddies and them did. Now you can't even be like granddaddy, or you get chastised. Your toxic masculinity, because you a real fucking man and you ain't taking no bullshit from nobody. You're not giving no bullshit to nobody. You're not putting no bullshit on nobody either. You operating in fairness. That's Black history. That's where we at. Go ahead and smash that like button, y'all. And let us know what you think about the questions in the live chat or the comment section below. Moving to our third question. Is Black history about survival, ownership, or both? And why?
Survival.
Survival.
We haven't been on ownership in a very long time. They actually got us scared to own. They got us scared to be productive. All of the things that you said, like the traumas, right? Like all of the things that it takes to be Black in this country from the inceptions has all been survival, right? Till today. What you just got finished saying about reparations is off the table, right? That means that that our ancestors gets no rights, no benefits. Like we get no credit, no nothing. Like it's just like, and you just gotta take it, right? So that's not an ownership thing if you're just taking it. Taking what somebody's giving you, not actually taking what they got, by force. You're actually taking what they give you. Um, you survived that. That's not an ownership thing. At least not the way in my mind. I can't I can't see it in a positive. Um, we got we constantly having to fight um, for position amongst minorities, right? Trying to maintain a spot or a position to maintain recognition to say, hey, America, don't forget about us while you're giving all these other groups stuff, right? Hey, we're still here too, and we're still asking for stuff, right? We're still like until they repair, like until America repairs our ancestors, God, like it's gonna always be survival, even if we come up somehow, right? And I don't know, take over this month or something like that, right? It's still gonna be in survival mode, um, because we won't be able to sleep good at night because you won't be worried about somebody coming back in and spinning a block, right? And and if you had power and ownership, you wouldn't be worried about spinning the block because you had a whole neighborhood on lockdown and you got guard posters everywhere, so you ain't worried about none of that stuff. So for me, I think it's all survival, right? And we love struggle stories. Like we look at all the popular black entertainment is all slave movies or baby mama drama, baby daddy drama. The pastor did this. Somebody, it's all the drug movies, the drug dealer movies. It's all the criminality and when you watch those things, it's all about surviving that experience, surviving those times, surviving those people, right? And our greatness seems to be that of surviving, right? So I don't know. I don't see ownership in our history thus far here in America.
No doubt. We on our third question, y'all. Is Black history about survival, ownership, or both, and why? And the guy was just breaking down um, struggle. Being that it isn't defined, God, you know, I definitely don't think it's about ownership. I don't like. How can you own something with no definition?
Facts, right?
You know. So one of the key things you said I wrote down was how we love a struggle story. And I think that is it. That is because our whole Black History Month is predicated on leading with y'all was slaves first. You came from slavery. Somebody stole you from where you really from and brought you over here. you know and your own people even did you bad and did you dirty, and the stronger tribes, what they say, the stronger tribes went and took the weaker tribes and sold you off, and so I mean, look how it's creating hate. Look at the struggle that it's creating. It's a struggle to even like yourself in a mirror. When you looking at you like, dang, how could you do that to me and somebody who looked just like you? And then when we get these traumas that permeate through our family, through the trauma, through the abuse, the verbal abuse, through the mental abuse, through all of these things that affect everybody, they have these lasting effects. You're like, damn, like this is like birth from this whole slavery thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's birth from this whole story. Then when you get down into the slavery, it's Black history, y'all. We cooking. You get the separation of the families. We get the buck breaking and the Jim Crow and the segregation and the, you know, the, like you was talking about earlier, the brutality and the lynchings and all of this stuff. And all of this stuff is just history piled on, piled on, and piled on. I don't even know how people be now. I ain't gonna be no hypocrite. I used to enjoy the word nigga. I used to enjoy it. I even was a person who uh acknowledged that when Tupac recreated it and said never ignorant getting goals accomplished. So that gave it more of significance because it's like, yeah. But the thing is the ignorance comes in if we don't know where the word came from and what was the point of the word in the first place. Okay. So then we should be selective about the situations that we using when we apply it. Like the brother that was on, shout out to brother that was on when he was like, you know, when I say my nigga, you know, it's like it's my nigga. It feel good. Like it's a love. It's a, you know, using it as a term of endearment. But that's still trauma. That's still trying to take something bad and turn it to something good. That's not taking something good and standing on it. And that's what the power that we have to do through that struggle is to say, I don't want to struggle like that anymore. People don't get that. When they say when I say like nah, like don't call me no nigga, like I ain't your nigga. You know, that's because I'm saying, I'm professing to you, to whoever that person is, that nah, I've been that, but that ain't what I see myself. We can be better than that. We don't have to take that struggle and try to make it feel good now. We don't even have to be triggered by it, by somebody ignorantly trying to use it to get you to come out yourself and be something that's going to appease them.
I don't think they're ignorantly trying to do that, guy. I think they intentionally doing that. They know good and full well that they are purposely triggering people that's easily triggered.
Right? So the wild part is just like most of the time when people do that, like they could dish it, but they can't take it.
Exactly.
You know, they could dish it out, but then they victims when somebody else come back with it on them, when they give you the same thing that you given, you know, then now you a worse person when you didn't even open up that door. Okay. So this struggle, you know, is continual. And I think people be in love with the struggle, you know, and that's why I think even more so that we need to define Black history so we can remove that. So we can remove the word struggle from the definition of Black history. It needs to have a definition, and struggle does not need to be a part of it. The things that we've been surviving as Black Americans or so-called African Americans, we know that we've been through a struggle. They keep teaching it every single February. We know we've been through a struggle. Most people go home and it's some type of struggle that they got. It's something, a lack of financial literacy, a lack of access to certain resources. Okay, like we see the struggles, we still living in that, through that. We still living through it. We still making steps to learn and be better if you want to. Some people just complain about shit but then don't do nothing. You know, we call the what you call them, got the looking ass mofos.
Looking at mom.
You know,
Just want to look, bro. Just want to see.
they just want to see something. They don't want to do nothing. They don't want to work together.
Nope.
And that's what we be talking about. Like that needs to be in Black history, working together. You know, it's like it's some words that need to be in there that need to that when Black people read the definition, they be like, oh man, we gotta get to work.
We got to get to work.
It ain't just gonna be like, oh well, you know, for Black History Month, I had the kids bring in their favorite soul food dishes. You know, so everybody can be serving diabetes and high blood pressure, calling that soul food.
That's funny.
I mean, the yams do be tasting good, bro, but I mean, they just be too, you know what I'm saying? And you can't eat fried chicken every day, even though it's delicious. You know, the greens is cooked down to the point where it ain't no nutrients in the greens no more. That's not food that we need to be able to give you the strength to survive the struggle. You know, it's gonna be tearing you down over time, and then you're gonna be needing a whole lot of medication just to be when you older. Because of these foods, we seeing this. This is part of Black history. You know, like how we gonna talk about Black history and we not gonna talk about our diet too?
Yeah, and we call them yams, but they're really sweet potatoes.
You know,
Most people ain't even eating yams for real, right? If they're eating yams, probably wouldn't even have the bad diet that we got now. If we're eating real
yams, right? So you know, I mean, you know, they call it candy yams, you know, and they just want the candy. They don't
just want the candy.
They don't want the yam. Like you might as well go have a Snickers or something. You know, ain't going nowhere for a minute. Hell no, you just ate 3,000 calories. Your ass gonna be passed out on the couch from a sugar high.
Yeah.
You know, so definitely there's that I'm agreeing with the God that man, like it's struggle and it's bad, you know, because nobody wants to struggle. I don't know anybody who enjoys now, at least in my circle now, okay? Because I have had somebody say to me before, somebody that I grew up with, say to me, man, like you sound like you ain't fucking with the struggle no more, Pearl. I'm not.
At all.
I'm not.
At all.
I'm not.
Promise you I'm not.
I'm not with it at all. I'm not trying to struggle with nothing, no more than the things that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Other than that, we turn shit off like light switches, man.
Facts.
That's it.
Definitely can't struggle with no regular stuff.
You know?
Nah, the struggle days are over.
All that's over. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section below or in the live chat, depending on where you at with the show, y'all. We are smoking on Black history tonight. And going into our fourth question, what part of Black history do you think you should have learned earlier but didn't, and why? Let us know what you think in the comment section below or in the live chat. What part of Black history you think you should have learned earlier, and why, God?
That's actually pretty easy. The financial literacy. So we learned about Black Wall Street, but really the only thing that we learned is that it got burned down and people got killed in front of their homes and stuff like that. What I really wish I would have learned was the process of creating and establishing, right? And knowing exactly what skill sets were needed to maintain, even though it got burned down and stuff like that, it was being maintained before that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that means that they had um, knowledge, skill set, um, they had a reason for the season, like they was doing it for a thing. That had collective understanding, and I feel like that was lost. Um, I feel like that was lost. Right? I definitely think that that part of Black history, because we had a bunch of the Black Wall Streets had a bunch of progressive and productive Black towns and cities that were destroyed, and
Destroyed.
that's the only history or the only information that we really get about these great places, right? These things that our ancestors did were that they were destroyed, which just compounds the struggle, and it doesn't speak to the actual thriving that was happening amongst the struggle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it doesn't speak to how the Black Wall Street that actually got burned down was actually, holding up the country financially. Like it
Yeah.
was super beneficial
The
to the country.
the functioning of it
Yeah.
before it got burnt down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
really not no stories on that, is it?
there's no stories on none of that. It was a black bank making it seem like, oh, it was just black money doing black bank things, and as if the bank didn't bank with other banks, right?
Right. Like the bank didn't get their money from the same place, right?
yeah, right. Like we get like the stories that we get told that is it was for us by us only, and no other monies came in to help, no other monies or no other resources was needed. Like I wish we'd had a more fuller depiction of what was really going on, instead of the story of instead of the fear mongering, right? Like, I don't want to be scared no more, right? I'm old enough to where I ain't dead yet, so it's like come on, man. Like, the only thing we got is right now, and just do that shit, right?
It's a
Like,
good try.
it's a good try.
It's a good try.
Like,
And
you
we ain't
can't be
failing.
mad at that,
Yeah.
guy.
You ain't failing if you try.
Can't be mad at that, right? So yeah, that's what I think. I think the processes of all of the black towns and accomplishments. I'm limited by saying the financial literacy, but it's just it's a whole process, a thought process that I don't know how to put into words. That I'm just gonna encompass under financial literacy.
No doubt. No doubt. No, I get it. The actual blueprint of what the people were doing, or what the black people were doing in those communities, and how they got to become the Black Wall Streets, you know, or those economic business centers in
There we go. Yeah,
those black communities. You know, how did they do that? What was the recipe? How what was their cooperative economic plan? um how did they do that? And I'm sure, God, I'm certain that is no different than the page we see from all of these communities that people look alike, that live in each other, that live
I agree.
around each other, that we see in America today. The little Odessas,
I
the
agree.
the little, and they go on. The list goes
Yeah,
on. The Chinatowns,
yeah.
the
I
all of that
agree.
stuff. So like, it's people pouring back. It's people saying we need this. It's people with skill sets, and we have to remember that college wasn't a big thing for blacks until like I want to say maybe the 30s or 40s, maybe. So there was some, but it was a few, but mostly it was trades. Mostly it was, you know, but we don't have that nobody. Like we don't have black tailors like we used to. We don't have black hardware store owners, and so much of the big box stuff that came in, and everything now is Home Depot or those.
Yeah.
Or Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
Ace downgraded.
Yeah.
But we don't see black people saying, I'm gonna open up a hardware store, Blackman's Hardware. Like, I'm just gonna do that. I want to do that. I want to compete with Home Depot. Let me see how far I can go. Like that. It isn't a desire anymore, like those things. And I think from what you were saying, like because during Black History Month, that's not something that's taught in the whole curriculum. All right, that isn't a seed that's planted in the curriculum. You get the trauma. Oh yeah, y'all did this, but we wouldn't burnt that shit down and ain't nothing happened.
It ain't nothing happened.
And then y'all too scared to try to rebuild it again.
And y'all too scared to try to rebuild it again.
So, I get it though. And I definitely, I like that, because I think that would have done a lot for Black peoples in America too, just to have that knowledge in looking at what you want to be when you grow up, and what type of life do you want to have for yourself, and if you in an environment that facilitates that, then you feel motivated. You feel confident about it. You feel like you have a chance. You feel like you have a shot, because somebody there is willing to give you an opportunity. So I'm almost certain that is the reason how it was able to be more successful, because people were enthused, people were encouraged. I'm gonna go work for Mr. Ali up at the butcher shop. He said if I come up there, he could pay me a nickel a week, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
happy about that job.
Yeah,
about to go there to take care of my family, man. I'm about to get
he gonna pay me $1 a week, man. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give me a whole $1 a week. Because that's when a nickel might buy you a loaf of bread, a pound of flour, and some, So I could understand that, how that would, would just create a beautiful blossoming Black community thriving. And I could see why if somebody didn't want that, they would want to burn it down. Keeping it all the way. 1,000 hours. Black History Month. It ain't like that. It ain't like that ain't what happened. So we ain't talking down, right? We talking about
100% what happened.
We talking about American history, Black history, right? So if they ain't want us to talk about it, they shouldn't have did it. Plain and simple. But what part of Black history do you think you should have learned earlier but didn't, and why? I would take it back to ancient. I would have liked to have known that that we built pyramids, and we actually had civilizations that traded and built waterway systems and cultivated society. There was this National Geographic thing, and I don't know how credible National Geographic is as far as what they come up with or whatever. But when they said that the Nile Valley was the cradle of civilization, Okay, now people can interpret that however they want, and it's a whole bunch of different stories about this, that, and the third. But let's just say they right, and we look at the people that look like black peoples, all right, and we look at all of their accomplishments and what they were doing. I think getting that prior to a well, it's February, and you know, you were slaves, and those people took you and brought you here and just gave you this, and getting that right there would have been like, okay, so maybe then you have some understanding of a caste system, and you understand government a little bit, and you understand politics and structure and social structure. So um you understand tribalism, and so it's getting all of these different things. So before you get to that slave story, if it's real, but we're gonna say that it's real because they keep teaching it. All right, so they want us to believe it. So before you get to that, then it gives you something to actually know, like to say, okay, well, why did that happen? How did it get there? How did these people, these advanced people, these people of great uh mathematical and scientific accomplishment, how did they get to this place of, well, well, we're gonna take them weak ones over there, we're gonna sell y'all to them Europeans. Like, how did it get to that? And I think that, like, if for me, like, if I would have got that first, and honestly still haven't got that. I still don't understand how that slave story correlates to um to the breakdown of the people and the tribalism and all of that good and all of that stuff that's wrapped up in that. To, if, like we say, if adding truth to this story, to this slavery story of how the stronger tribes took the weaker tribes and sold them to Europeans and all this other stuff. Like, how did we get there? Why is that when we were so great? Like, what, it wasn't enough for everybody? Like, you telling me the biggest continent on earth, it wasn't enough land, it wasn't enough resources, it wasn't enough women to procreate? It wasn't, clearly, if it was weaker tribes, it was women who were slaves too coming over on the boats. That's what they saying. It was children too. So people were living, they were being taken from their homes, brought to the new land. So I think that if we got that part of the story, there may have been able to call some bullshit on a couple of things and understanding how that all played a part. But then you will also be able to look at yourself and be like, I come from greatness. So even if you are a product of that, you can be like, okay, well, a tribe can separate just by a brother saying that he don't want to follow the rules of the father and the family. So he just go over here on this land, and now he start his own tribe. But then you still got this, this father over a son, and the father now he got his own tribe, and now he got his own tribe, and they still procreating, and it's still, so you can still be tied into each other. It's still supposed to be one blood, right? So if that's the case, then even though we may have been considered a weaker tribe, we were weaker because we didn't have the resources, because the resources was limited. But it wasn't that we wasn't capable of obtaining them resources. You can only not be capable of attaining the resources if you're being oppressed. That's it. But if you unify enough, you might have to go fight, though. You might have to risk your life. And that's why I be talking about that. Like, people ain't willing to risk their life. They don't want it bad enough. Especially if the people is going to continue to oppress you, and all you're going to do is take it and complain and beg them to stop.
Yeah.
So I wish that I would have got some of that ancient African history, prior to just getting, you a slave right off top. And that's your history. Because it took a long time. It took, it wasn't until I would say maybe I was about 15 or 16 before I started getting that information. And then still not even knowing how to process it correctly until maybe in my late 20s, late to mid 20s. Because I'm comfortable with being a nigga. Because I'm trying to be a real nigga. Whatever the fuck that is. It's some bullshit. It's some bullshit. Definitely. So we have just been answering y'all, what part of Black history do you think you should have learned earlier but didn't, and why? And let us know in the live chat or in the comment section below whenever you're watching this. And we respond to all the comments, y'all. And yeah, let us know what y'all think, man. It's one of them things. It's Black History Month, and we always constantly learning. So let us know what you think. Also, y'all, smash that like button. Smash that like button. We appreciate that if y'all do that. And also subscribe to the channel. Share the content, y'all, too. And hit the notification bell so whenever we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays live. Before we go to our fifth and final question of the evening, last but never least, we're going to go ahead and jump into these flavor bombs. Once again, y'all, happy Black History Month. We are celebrating the late, great Richard Claxton Gregory, a.k.a. Dick Gregory, Baba Gregory. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into these flavor bombs.
The Flavor Bombs, presented to you by DBCHEFTV.
So, our first flavor bomb tonight is, y'all, we got Dick Gregory speaking on America. And we got a clip. It's an older clip, but you'd be a pretty surprised at what he's talking about, and how relative it is to today. And then we're going to go and pay our respects to Dr. Gladys Brown West, Dr. Gladys West, creator of the GPS. All right, she just passed away. She was 95 years old. And y'all don't even know, we have people, Black people among us. She was 95 and she just transitioned. But we got Black people alive that's doing some fantastic, fabulous things, y'all. They're still doing groundbreaking stuff. And it's just not getting the light that it need to get shined on and to get motivated. It's so much light being shined on, so much negative stuff, encouraging people to do, scams and sell your body and pop pills and do drugs and slide and kill and murder and have no respect for nobody, even less for yourself. And, we just gonna highlight, we ain't on that over here,
No.
We ain't on that over here. So we gonna highlight our people, what they got going on, because It's Black History Month, and that's what we doing. Let's get into the Dr. Baba Dick Gregory.
Do you believe the American political system is sophisticated enough to deal with complex issues?
No, I believe it's too unethical, and that's where I believe it's going to swallow up itself. And I believe we're going to look around and have mass chaos in this country.
Chaos? You're talking about violence?
I'm talking about violence, yes, because white folks are not going to tolerate being out of work. White folks are not going to tolerate being told they cannot own a house. White folks are not going to tolerate being told they can't go to Florida and get them some sun. And that's just what's fixing to happen. They ain't never had to worry about me, because when I tore up something, I tore up my neighborhood. White folks will blow up the bridge. They will blow up the bank. And I'm saying, if we don't look and see where this country is headed, because you have white folks in this country that's never been without a job, that's never been without a good job. When I got a good job, I was surprised. I never expected it. When I found out I was going to college, I was surprised. I was the hero in my neighborhood. It's expected for white folks to go to college. And all at once, this lifestyle, there's only two people that can survive this country. The Indians will be able to survive it because they ain't never had gas up on it. They ain't never had a thermostat to turn down. And black folks might be able to survive it, provided we can get out all that silliness and stop trying to emulate something that we're not.
You keep talking as if something dire is going to happen. Chaos if the economy falls, a revolution if the political apparatus collapses. And yet, I don't see much evidence of that. I see instead resignation, disillusionment, a retreat into self-centeredness, the me decade. I don't see any sense of the flames that might flicker into real change.
I wouldn't see it neither if I wasn't watching the economy. And I'm not saying that we were cleaner back in that last depression or pure, but conditions forced me to live next to you as my brother. So I knew what dinner was. I don't know who lived next to me now. I don't know who's upstairs. I don't know who's downstairs. I know one thing, every other person got a gun. And when you live in a nation that would squawk more about registering their rifle than registering their children, then we're in trouble. We are completely in trouble. And I think a 91-year-old white woman said it better than anyone's ever said it. And that was this past summer. This white woman in Houston, Texas got arrested for shoplifting. Her picture went around the world. And Americans sent that woman $25,000. And she held a press conference and said, thanks, but no thanks. I don't need your $25,000. I need you to change the conditions that reduces people like me into shoplifting. And I love that because it embarrassed me, because that old white woman upset me, because if my grandmother was alive in 91 and got caught shoplifting and white America sent her $20,000, she'd have got on TV praising God and talking about what a good country this is. But that woman put it right. I need you to change the conditions that reduces me down. And that's a funny thing, because when you get people that's Christians that really believe in God, they get reduced down to stealing, then you lose that thing. And if America is not watching, we in trouble.
What you think,
All facts.
All facts.
All facts. I mean, they got us. They sold us on this is a Christian nation, right? A Christian society, right? It's Bible based. And then when cats start losing that, it start, you know, a lot of Christians are in prison, right? A lot of religious people are in prison. Like, so when
it ain't lost already.
I mean,
I'm gonna say it, you know, like I'm just ASSHOLE. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Everybody got one.
Yeah, bro. Like we in trouble right now. Look at what's going on right now. Like, you know, black people been getting killed by police, you know, disproportionately on TV.
On TV, not in real life. Not in real life.
Well, so I say on TV because they don't show cops killing white people on TV, right? Or on social media and stuff like that. It's mostly cops killing black people. Is what we see.
Lately,
right?
Though, we've been seeing what
that's
Baba
ICE.
was talking about, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's what I'm saying now, right? Like,
yeah, lately we've been seeing
like now that you start to see this is like
we gotta do something.
What he's saying is right because they scared, right? And it's like, oh no, you can shoot the niggas, but not us.
Yeah.
right? We gonna tear this whole thing up. And then January 6th wasn't like let me show you what we can do kind of moment. Like I don't know, man. Yeah, I did. He all facts. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
And people keep coming here and bringing their ideas and their cultures to this mess, to add on to this mess that's America, expecting something better, right? Interesting.
At least some pieces of paper. You know, at least some pieces of paper. You know, so definitely what he said about people watching the economy guy, and that's why I said, like, you know, a lot of people that I talk to, you know, they'd be like, you ain't see this, I'd be like, I'm watching the economy. I don't give a shit about Trump's tweet. I don't know. I don't
mean
care.
anything.
You know, I don't care what Obama did or didn't do for black people. He watching the damn economy because he not exempt. He might have a place he can go. He might be exempt from certain laws.
Correct.
He may have some insider trading stuff. All of these politicians, all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. But they not exempt. They still have to balance their budget. They still gonna get hit with inflation. Don't matter how much they got, generational wealth they got. If it ain't worth shit, by the time the whoever it's supposed to get, then guess what? Like, it was just a whole bunch of paper you saved up, and guess what? It don't buy the same amount of shit today that it will in 20 years. Just like when granddaddy and them, who we was talking about, and grandmom and them, when they had $100 back then, the $100 don't buy the same amount of thing today.
Nah, $100 back then was like 1,000.
Like 10.
Yeah, there was you can get a lot.
10, come on.
You can get a lot.
You get paid $1 a week, you in there.
You can get a lot. $100, you can get a lot.
So you talking about you got 100 of them, you balling, you staying at the Ritz.
$100 today, you might be able to go to the movies.
Man. Couple bags of groceries, maybe. You know, depending on your palate. You know, even the cheap shoes, even Payless sneakers. You know, Payless tennis shoes now, $40 now, $50. You know, like, dude, Payless don't even exist no more. You know,
yeah, they'll Payless joints is $40, $50 for real.
God, I'm just talking. You know, sometimes I just be saying shit. You know,
that took me out, God. I'm like, like there's no Payless and Payless.
I don't even know. You know, hey,
I know the dollar stores ain't the same no more, but I'm like, I don't know if I even. They still got Payless. I think I still seen the Payless.
You seen the Payless? You ain't stopped in there and bullshit though. Nah. Hell no. Nah. We did that already when Payless was cheaper. When Payless was cheaper, we was in there. I ain't above it now, but let me say this. In comparison to like Walmart and stuff like that, if you walk past Walmart, you still gonna pay, you know, $30, $40 for a pair of shoes in Walmart. You know, unless you're getting some slides or something like that, you know, you can go and grab you some slides for about, you know, $12, $13 if you just need something real quick, you know. But I mean, look at that. I mean, when we talking about going in Payless, I remember as a kid to go in Payless, you know, Nana V took me in there like, you can't get them Jordans, but you can get about 5 pairs up in here for, you know, for this thing. We're going to get you some dress shoes. We're going to get you some play shoes. We're going to get you some school shoes, 2 pairs of school shoes, pair of dress shoes, play shoes. You know, you're going to get yourself together, you know. So it definitely is a difference. And that's the reason why I focus on the economy so hard. That's why I'm just like, yeah, part of that financial literacy now is like, we struggle to try to get that collective you know, that collective, that cooperative economic thing where people can get together, work together, agree to disagree, and not forget the goal, you know, and focus on what the goal is, and that be our thing. Even when you get there and you like, he gonna say some dumb shit. I don't need, so he always gonna say something rude, or she gonna do this, or he gonna say that. But guess what? What's our goal? And as long as we stick to that, then we are all there for the same purpose. So all of that stuff is working through whatever we need to do to reach that goal.
Correct.
You know, and since that is so difficult, then and like we say, it's Black History Month, and I gotta have my own bootstraps. I gotta make sure my bootstraps is tight. Then paying attention to that economy is important. You know, so example, I'm more concerned about what Trump is doing with the tariffs than his tweets about the Obamas in monkey suits. I'm more concerned about what critical minerals they put on the list and things like that versus he won't apologize. Will it make a difference? If it don't make a difference, if the damage is already done, right? And you ain't gonna do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't gonna pull up on Trump.
Or can't.
You can't pull up on Trump anyway, right? Like that's
then what's the point?
Then what's the point?
If you can't do it anyway,
that's the
what's
point.
the point?
The point is to be around a whole bunch of other people who just angry, and you finally got some people you can agree with in anger, because you don't have any people that you can agree with collectively in positivity. And that's what I see a lot of people doing. But that's just my opinion. They may disagree, but I asked them to check their record. I asked them to check their personal circle.
This week, we highlight another life well lived. The next time you get in the car and plug your destination into the GPS to immediately find the fastest route, you can thank a pioneering mathematician named Gladys West.
Gladys grew up on a small family farm in rural Virginia, the daughter of sharecroppers. As high school valedictorian, she earned a scholarship to Virginia State College, where she studied mathematics. A few years after graduating, Gladys was hired at the Naval Proving Ground in Dahlgren, Virginia, where she was one of only 4 Black employees. One of the others was a man named Ira West, who would become her husband of 67 years. While programming large-scale computers and analyzing satellite data for the Navy in the 1980s, West developed an increasingly precise and accurate map of the Earth's shape. Her algorithms and data mapping created the functions and laid the groundwork for the modern global positioning systems, or GPS, found in phones, cars, and in military weapons. West retired from the Naval Surface Warfare Center in 1998 after 42 years of service. At the age of 70, she went back to school, earning a doctorate from Virginia Tech. Dr. Gladys West, whose groundbreaking work paved the way for GPS, died last weekend in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She was 95 years old.
Rest in peace.
Rest in power to the ancestor, man. Like
Miss Gladys. You know, my great grandmama named Gladys. They don't even name children. They don't name babies Gladys no more. They don't name women Gladys no more. We need to bring back some of them old names. Bertha, Gladys, Betty.
Yeah, those names had expectations of doing stuff.
Oh, man.
Now we got Lexuses and Porsches and Kias
and Bentley.
And Bentleys. And,
yes, indeed.
Nah, so, shout out to her. And 67 years of marriage.
67 years of marriage.
Man.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful. And she met Ira. Ira, that's the old name too. Ira. Oh, Ira, where old Ira at, man? Tell Ira I said, come on over. Yeah, shout out to them and shout out to her. That's a beautiful story, y'all. And that's Black history. She was still alive. She just passed last week. Somebody who created the GPS.
Just died last week.
Just died last week.
Was around this whole time.
And how much light she get shined on her? None. But it's Black history. And that's why we celebrating it. Okay? Yeah. That's why we celebrating it. Because if we don't put it out, it seems like ain't nobody else trying to put it out. And we personalizing it. This ain't AI doing it. This ain't, we don't need AI to tell our story. We actually did the work. So shout out to Miss Gladys. And
we actually did the work.
And we salute her. Love and condolences to the family. She had a beautiful, long life of service, and we appreciate her for that, So
you've just been Flavor Bombed, and now back to our show.
Yep, y'all. So we are smoking on the saying Black History tonight. Make sure to smash that like button and also share the content, y'all, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. It really helps us get this content in front of beautiful people like yourself. Going into our fifth and final question of the evening, last but never least, is the saying Black History bad, good, or misunderstood? The God Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm.
Firstly, I'm gonna say it's good because I love being Black, and I ain't gonna never take that back, right?
I love being Black. I ain't gonna never take it back. That's a hook. That's a hook.
And I'm also gonna say it's misunderstood because what you made me realize, right? Like it has no definition and it's too easily confusable, right? It doesn't have a mission statement that we can all follow, right? So like it needs to be defined more by us, right? The same way we did nigga, we need to do Black history.
We need to do Black history,
right? Like the same way that we made nigga pop up in a dictionary. It started in the Urban Dictionary, the Ebonics Dictionary. We need to put Black history in there with our definition on it, and that's what it means from here on out. So I'm saying it's good because I would never hate myself, but definitely misunderstood because it's not defined, and too much controversy could be caused by something as innocent as my reflection, right? People will want to fight over who has the right to call themselves. And I'm like, there's only one Ali. Like, get out of here with that. You know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it, God. I like it, but it is misunderstood.
Well, when some people say some things that are so eloquently explained, they really, you can just agree and just, and keep it pushing. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rock with you. I'm proud to be in Black too, and yeah, that ain't going to change. So misunderstood and good. And man, we want to thank everybody, all the beautiful Black people and the non-Blacks who pulled up tonight or who will watch this. Answer the questions, y'all. Let us know. Let us know in the comment section below. What y'all think? What do you think of when you hear the saying Black history? Why isn't there more social interest in celebrating Black history beyond February? Is Black history about survival, ownership, or both, and why? What part of Black history do you think you should have learned earlier but didn't, and why? And is the saying Black history bad, good, or misunderstood? And it doesn't matter what your language or complexion is. Let us know, because everybody got a comment. Everybody got an opinion on something. And we like to know, so don't think because you ain't Black that, you can't say and express something about, make a comment on it. We want to know. We want to get all perspectives. That's what that's what we do here. We exchange insights and we learn things, So once again, we're going to send another shout out to Baba Gregory. And for Black History Month, that's what we were celebrating. And we want to thank everybody for joining us. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. And we'll see y'all next time, Sunday, 8 p.m. East Coast time, right here on Cigar Sundays, live with myself, Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV, and the God Ali Dawood at BK Soul Farm. And we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, God.
Peace, God. This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Post your DB Chef TV merch to your social media and enter to win $1,000 cash. That's right, $1,000 cash. Must be 18 years old or with parental consent. See contest rules for full details. Visit the DB Chef TV gift shop and post your merch to win. Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude at Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigarden Panel. Smoking on words like two big nerds. Hosted by DB Chef TV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. You are the key to your financial freedom. So unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.